Yeah. Wait, should we record this? Because I saw this on my feed and I was going to leave a comment and I saw your comment on it. And then I
Yeah.
didn't even end up leaving my comment.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay.
Okay. When you start your business, no one ever prepares you for what's in store. So finding someone else who just gets it is sometimes the thing that can keep you pushing towards those big vision board business goals.
We're turning our Zoom coffee chats into a weekly, unfiltered podcast for online business owners. There were so many good ones, we always wanted to record them and repurpose them for content, anyways. And that's on being a social media manager.
I'm Jessica Sheehy.
And I'm Madeleine Digan. And this is
hashtag
managed. I think it's perfect.
I like it. I like it. Since it's almost Thanksgiving, I'm already thinking about one, the stretchy pants I'm going to wear for the dinner, and two, I'm thinking about the food and just how good it is. But I want to know, in your opinion, what's the superior Thanksgiving side dish?
It might be a hot take, but green bean casserole.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Yes. I feel like people are either love or hate green bean casserole. I feel like I don't really know many people in the middle, and I love green bean casserole. Like green bean's my favorite vegetable. Like fun fact if anyone cared to know like what my favorite vegetable was, but I mean, put it into a casserole with all of the I don't even know. I've never actually made it, so I can't tell you what's in it, but all the delicious and the crunchy like chef's kiss.
Yes, and fun fact about me, I'm not a big leftovers girly. I don't care for leftovers, but for whatever reason, I love a green bean casserole reheated, or again, some of you listeners might be like, this is disgusting, but even cold.
Mhm.
And also, I love that it is so easy to make. Like, yes, I
Yeah.
like cooking, but like it is so easy to make.
Mhm.
So,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's a good take for I'm not even gonna say hot take because that's a good take. My favorite side dish, again, I think not enough credit goes out to this side dish. It's often seen as so simple, but it could be really good or it could be really great. I think I'm really biased. I make a great version of this, but I'm going mashed potatoes. That is my
yes.
all-time favorite side dish. I love to make them like if you have a mixer, like a stand mixer, like a KitchenAid, like make it there, make them whipped, add in all the good things.
Mm,
I really like to make like a garlicky, sour cream and onion version
mm,
of mashed potatoes. To me, that's superior side dish. And a funny little short story that I have around mashed potatoes is one of my very first memories as a kid. And so my family will go around the table and share, what we're thankful for at Thanksgiving dinner. And I remember like we were at a really, really big table. It was probably one of like our biggest like family like Thanksgiving dinners to date. And I was really, really little, like probably like 4 or 5. And everyone's going around with like what they're thankful for. And all I remember seeing out of the corner of my eye, my grandfather was asking for someone to pass him the mashed potatoes, and no I don't know what, like if no one heard him or like if whoever was like sitting by them was like saying what they were thankful for. So anyway, it gets to my turn to share what I'm thankful for, and I'm like, I'm thankful for mashed potatoes. Now can someone please pass them to grandpa? Like that was literally like what I was thankful for. But I am. It's my favorite side dish and it stayed with me. But I immediately was like, I have the floor, everyone's listening to me. I have to take a stand on this. Meanwhile everyone's sharing, I'm thankful for this family member or health or wealth or happiness and all of that. And I'm like, I'm thankful for potatoes. So that's like one of my like first Thanksgiving memories I ever have.
I love that. And yes, mashed potatoes, like a garlic mashed potato, so good.
Hmm.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay, so since we asked the superior side dish, what do you think what's one side dish you could do without?
Okay. So this might seem kind of crazy given what my superior is, but one I could do without is sweet potato casserole.
Yeah.
Like I think I think we don't like my family doesn't often have it at Thanksgiving dinner, but I know Ryan's family, like when we first started kind of like integrating and doing the two Thanksgivings and now just our families do a combined one. But they always had it and I'm like, what is that? That no. Don't, and I like sweet potato. I do, but I don't know. Sweet potato casserole, I can't do it. So to me, it's out. I feel like it's not on many menus, so we can eliminate.
Same. No, growing up, we never had it. Recently, my dad has, because my dad is the one who
Mhm.
cooks our Thanksgiving meal. We're not going home for Thanksgiving this year, but um, I agree with that. But mine, again, this might cause some uproar, is the turkey.
Oh, okay. I'm so happy you said this because I this is okay. Now I know why Maddie and I are like we mesh together so beautifully because I'm a turkey hater too. Like,
Like I don't mind it, but it's just like it is so big. Like I'm like I don't want turkey sandwiches
hmm
the rest of the like you know how Christmas time, I don't know if you guys do a ham for Christmas. That's normally what we do.
yeah.
But this year since we're not going home, I texted Brennan, I go, "What do you think about doing steak for
Ooh,
Thanksgiving?"
yeah,
And
yeah.
my best friend does that. And so I'm
Okay,
copying her. And I'm just like, and
yeah.
I know where I'm like I'm going to go to the good butcher and get some
Yeah.
steaks.
Premium. Yep.
Yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, so turkey's mine.
Yeah, that is okay. I'm so happy you said that, and I love this hot take because I feel like we need to post this on social media and just
Mhm.
get all of the takes on it because it goes either way. I'm someone who I our our family does ham for Christmas. I'm always suggesting that we should also do a ham for Thanksgiving.
Mm,
Last year
mhm.
Thanksgiving was Ryan, my sister and myself and I did a ham. I literally like picked one up at Honey Baked Ham and I didn't make it myself full disclosure. So I just went and picked it up already prepared, but I'm like that's my favorite like meat at like a big dinner. But I like
Mhm.
the idea of like switching it up. There were a couple of years. So in 2008, my family moved from Atlanta to Tampa. And for maybe like a couple years at that, we never went home, even though, again, that's not far at all. But we didn't go back for the Thanksgiving holiday. And we did like, I don't know, you could say crazy. Like we did crazy Thanksgivings, but it was really fun. Like we would do like, one Thanksgiving we just did like it was an Italian theme. Like we did lasagna
Ooh.
and big salads and tons of garlic bread and like then one year we did like I think we did like a surf and turf. Like I'm not like a
Yum.
sometimes I'm not a big seafood eater, but we did that. Like so yeah, normalize eating your favorite foods and being grateful for those favorite foods on Thanksgiving.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. And I have one last
Mhm.
or I have a weekend thought.
Mhm.
And you're gonna laugh. So, for whatever reason, this past weekend, I was creeping on both Jessica's personal account and my own personal account. And you
Oh
wanna
gosh.
know,
Oh god.
no, you wanna know what I realized? What I realized
Yeah.
is if, again, so now if our audience goes to look, you're gonna see that Jessica posts her husband. I look as if I am single AF. And I was just dying. I was like, oh, I'm happily married. I was cracking up though. Cause again, both Jessica and I know you too, dear listener, like especially if you're a social media manager and just
Mhm.
an online bit, like a bit small business owner, like your personal accounts they get neglected,
Yeah.
but since I told you all that we're entering 2025 as the content creator era, that's I think where this all spiraled from. And I was
Mhm.
just like going at my account, looking at my account, like what those first assumptions. And so
Mhm.
that's where I was just like, this is hilarious, where I'm like, Jessica's happily married, like, and here's her husband, and then it's Madeline, who he is on there. He is
Mhm.
on there. But like
Yes.
he also hates getting his picture taken. So, but
Mhm.
that needs to change though. I told him that. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm dying laughing. But now that you're saying it, I can picture your feed, which might sound also creepy, but again, we're social media managers. We visualize these things, and I can picture that. I think it's so funny. But yeah, my Instagram feed is very interesting. Full disclosure too, again, 2024 has been super crazy. I went on that awesome trip at the start of October. I didn't even share one story. One story. Like I'm looking back and I'm looking at my camera roll and I'm like, well, I guess that's going to be on the sound of, and that is the 2024 season, whatever, that has come to an end. Um, Maybe that's what I'll do for that. And just all the things that live on my camera roll that I just never share. Um, yeah, that's so funny. I will say, and actually, I don't know if I do it so much anymore, but there was a good chunk, like maybe through like when Ryan and I got engaged and then different pictures we shared throughout that time frame and then wedding pictures like in some anniversaries,
Mhm.
like I
Mhm.
always have to add Ryan as a collaborator because he doesn't want to
And
create
he
his own post. And I
Yep.
just think it's so funny. Or if I do story, like which I didn't on that whole trip, but if like on past trips or sometimes like if we go to like a sporting event or if we go somewhere and I do story, I always tag him because I know he
Mhm.
likes to post too. He just is
Uh-huh.
always I don't know what to post, so just tag me. And then he just reposts. And sometimes he'll add like such a guy thing, he'll add like a crazy gif. Like if we like for example, like if we go to like when we went to Auburn, like he'll add like a big
Oh, yeah.
like war eagle like gif, and I'm like, that doesn't even go with the aesthetic of the story that I created. So but yeah, I guess that's maybe that's a plus of being married to a social media marketer. You never have to post yourself, just be tagged as a collaborator.
Yep. Yep. Oh, yeah. All right, let's get into our weekly reports. I feel like I can't remember who started last week. I think I did. So
I think
why don't you start this week?
okay. All right, my weekly report, I am reading Ina Garten's memoir, and I just started it. But I've heard so many things about it. So many so many people's takes on different parts of that she shares about her marriage and her business, like Barefoot Contessa and all of that. And I was a huge fan of that show, like way back when. Love the Food Channel. But the reason I'm reading it is because, and I know this is something that I think Maddie and I have fairly similar on our reports, is the Martha Stewart documentary on Netflix. And I think it was like Martha Stewart was on. I don't know if she was on because I don't actually like full disclosure, I don't actually watch what happens live on Bravo, but I think she
Mhm.
was talking with like Andy Cohen, who's like the host. And anyway, apparently there's some like beef between Ina and Martha. Like I do know that much, and that's not on my feed on this episode, but it's on my feed currently if anyone's wondering. But that's what I'm currently reading. It's interesting. I feel like Maddie and I have read like several like celebrity memoirs this year, and so I don't know. So far, I'm not putting it at the top. If I can get through all of it, we'll be good. But I'll report back if I can. Eating and I guess also obsessing over Trader Joe's butternut squash mac and cheese. Anything butternut squash, pasta sauce, soups. No, I'm obsessed with it for the fall. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. Playing, and probably will watch it again because I honestly was super obsessed. And I don't say that.
Mhm.
Do you watch things over again, Maddie? Like just
No,
memories?
when I saw that spoiler alert, we both are watching the same thing and it's Martha on Netflix. So when I saw that you also watched it, I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm obsessed with her, the original influencer. I'm like, I'm
Hmm.
putting her in my like with Pamela and like Pamela
Yes.
Anderson, Martha, like they're oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
would cry if I met them.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me say too, you know that question that you always get asked? It's like, who would you want to have a dinner party with? Like, who are you inviting? Like, okay, for sure, Martha, like adding
Mm-hmm.
her to that list. Also, just Martha, can you plan it for me too? Because
Oh
you're really
my.
good at it. But I feel like obviously she's such a public facing figure, and I knew so much of her story, but I didn't really know so much. And I feel like we learned a lot about her personality, which honestly, I was kind of shocked but not surprised with who she was as a person, because maybe I'm maybe I'm really stereotyping her as, the New York City businesswoman that she is and was, but I don't know, I wasn't so shocked with how people's perception of her was, whether it be true or not. Because can we just is it safe to say that a lot of powerful women deal with that same level of
E-
pushback?
well, and can we also talk about how, like, talk about she, like, being canceled and, like, coming up
Mhm.
from the grave multiple times, and not
Yeah.
only that, but, like, the one of the first and only women to work on Wall Street, and then she's like, "Meh, I didn't really
Mhm.
like it." I'm like, "You go off, queen."
Mhm.
And then,
Yeah.
okay, this is a spoiler alert, so, like, skip, like, the next, like, 10 seconds, but can we also just quickly discuss how, like, it was her best friend, I'm using air quotes, who, like, is the reason she, like, went to jail, and it's like, for why?
Yeah, that was crazy. And I'll say, like, seeing that unfold, it just, it just shows that, like, you always have to be careful, like, of who's in your inner circle, even if you're at like Martha Stewart level fame and fortune. And like, I don't know, for what, like, what was her gain is my question. And honestly, from her, what was it, soundbite in the documentary, it didn't really seem like she
Mhm.
had any remorse,
Uh-huh.
like,
No.
at all, which was
And I'm
mind.
sorry. I'm sorry, but you're my ride or die, like, no, no. Like, my
Yeah,
and where you know what I'm saying? Like, I just
like,
had
I'm
so
going
many
full
thoughts.
in on the story. I might not be in on the lie, but, like, I'm going in, I'm
Yes.
improvising, like, how I'm gonna insert. No, that's for, like, anyone in my life who's ever being questioned, like, I'm
Uh-huh.
never gonna cut a deal, like, I will always.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That was crazy. But yeah, Martha Stewart, like, queen of rebranding, like,
Mhm.
queen of rebranding.
Mhm.
And I knew she had a comeback, and I didn't realize it was actually a Justin Bieber's roast. To me, I'm like, what? It's one of those things, like, you always see those TikToks. It's like pop culture moments you'll never forget. I'm like, why do I never see that as like a big pop culture moment? As this is where, like, Martha Stewart kind of stepped back into the limelight. And honestly,
Mhm.
like, I think now, and again, it's a different time than when she was, kind of running everything beforehand. But hearing her, like, way back when before the court case and before her, jail time, like, seeing the empire that she built out of, like, a passion, and then obviously being a great businesswoman, I'm like, she was so far ahead of her time. Like,
Mhm.
so far ahead of her time, and if that never happened, like, things now would be so different for any woman trying to run a personal brand, or let alone like media company. It was
Yes.
it was awesome. Highly recommend. And
Yes.
that's where I'm like, I really want to, like, watch it again and, like, take notes, because I'm like,
Mhm.
honestly, I feel like there were so many good steps that she took. Like, I thought it was such a great documentary. I know it had to cover so much time span, but I would love, like, an even, like, more in-depth documentary on, like, or like a master class. Give me a Martha Stewart master class, like, on
Please.
not on, like, I think she does them on, like, hosting and things like that, but tell me, do a business one. That's what I need.
Yep.
Um, that's what I need. So yeah, I'm obsessing over that at the moment. Actually, I'm also obsessing over, back to my report, trying to find really good, like, basics. And so if you guys have any recommendations, there's a lot of, like, brands that, and I'm, like, really blanking on the ones that I do love at the moment and I've ordered. But anyway, I'm trying to find, like, a good, and honestly, trying to build a better, like, I don't know. I kind of hate this term, which might be a hot take, but I kind of hate the term capsule wardrobe, because I know in my head if I have a capsule wardrobe, I'll be like, ah, so boring, I can't do it. But I feel like I need better basics is where I'm getting at. So I'm currently
Mm-hmm.
obsessing over that, but also still in my somewhat no spin November. So I gotta wait till Black Friday to do all this shopping. So I got some time for my research. Um, Recommending a black bean brownie recipe, and I have like the specific one. It's gluten free. It's so, so good. So don't knock it till you try it. Like, and obviously great like protein and just health benefits from the beans. And also, hey, it's brownies. So like who doesn't like a
Mm-hmm.
good brownie? Um, and then treating myself, I am actually traveling to Charleston next week. So you'll see some fun, like in person content slash podcast episodes with myself and Maddie. So super excited for that. And that is my weekly report.
So excited. Okay. For my weekly report, so I'm still reading Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. I'm at least, making progress in it. Eating Chomp's turkey sticks.
Ooh.
They're really good. And yeah, turkey sticks. They have a few flavors, but that one's my favorite. Then I'm playing, again, Martha Netflix documentary. And one last thing I will say on that too, like her home, like her garden. I aspire to have a garden like Martha. So that'll be my last note on that. Again, also we'll be rewatching. Obsessing over my 2025 planner, you guys. It just came last night and I'm gonna do a whole unboxing. Like I had to open it last night, obviously, because I like needed to like really like smell it,
Yeah.
feel it, do all the things. And I like put it back in the plastic so that again, where it's like I can
Mm-hmm.
reveal the whole unboxing. But anyways, then I'm recommending chocolate bone broth. Um, and kind of doing that as an alternative to my coffee in the morning. So full disclosure, I got this idea from Gracie, who you were the one who recommended the
Martin? Was it
podcast.
Gracie
Yes.
Martin? Yes.
Yes, her like wellness podcast, and
Yeah.
she takes cashew milk, puts a little bit of cinnamon in it, warms it up, and then puts the chocolate bone broth in. So good, so good. I'm really trying to incorporate a lot more protein into my diet. So
Mm-hmm.
anyways, and then I'm treating myself to New Balance shoes. And you guys, like, I have been wanting New Balance shoes since the beginning of this year, but every time I found a pair that I liked, it would be sold out, not in my size, all the
Mm-hmm.
things. I found my dream ones. And once they come, I will share them, but I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Like
We're gonna
about the
need
little
like another unboxing for those when
yes.
we see them.
And it
Ultimately.
was perfect because I bought them from Anthropology because I had a gift card. And I don't know about you guys, but when I have like $100 gift card, and again, we all know that gets you literally like one thing at Anthropology. Let's be for
Mm-hmm.
real here. And so you just like I like hold on to it. And I'm like, what do I want? What do I want?
Yeah.
And so there they were. Oh my gosh.
All right. Should we dive into this week's water cooler? We have one from the Facebook community. So, quick plugs. I think it's been a little while since we plugged this. So, shameless plug. Join the hashtag Manage Collective Facebook group. It's 100% free to join if you're social media manager, marketer, strategist in marketing, want to be in marketing. It's the place to be. I feel like it's safe to say that. Join us at the water cooler.
Let's hear a question from one of our listeners and see how we can help. This week, they say, I have an old client that is now asking me for all the templates for the graphic style posts I created for them while being their social media manager. I can't decide how I feel about this. Do I owe them to them as I created them while working for them, or should I charge to pass them on? You've come to the right person because if you've been following me since the beginning of time or just know me in general, like my graphic design background, and that was honestly always one of my secret sauces to clients and just in general. And I would tell you 100% charge them for it,
Mhm.
especially if they're not like, even if you created them in Canva, but you created them and they're not a stereotypical Canva template,
Mhm.
you charge them. You charge them. That is because, and I hope you are also, if you're not already, you should be charging this as like a separate fee, or, kind of like a sub category within your fees, in my opinion,
Mhm.
because not every social, this is an argument I always see, is like, social media managers aren't graphic designers. You're not. You may have that background and you may have that experience, which, that is awesome, and like I just said, is going to set you apart from other social media managers, and you should use that to your advantage.
Yeah, agree. 100% agree. Maddie and I were like talking about this before we recorded, and I'm like, I'm not going to share my take. She didn't share hers, but I'm like, I already know we're on the same page. This is everything Maddie said about, you know, that being a skill that you have, and you should charge for that. It should not go under the rug. It should not be something that a client says, maybe you're offboarding them and they're kind of like, hey, like I'm taking over my social media now. Like I need access to those templates. It's like, okay, well, yes, pay my invoice first. You guys
Mhm.
know our favorite saying. And then you can share access to those templates, even if it is a Canva template file that you can share or a couple. But I think always charging is so important because you put in the work, you created, your creativity is poured out on those templates, and don't just give it away for free.
No, I feel like, again, no notes, and that is hashtag managed.
Yes. Yes. I feel like one thing I'm putting in here, because I know Harmony's going to listen to this too, but we have the hashtag manage. We also need like something for like, I don't know, cha-ching, pay that invoice that you guys, I'm like trying to
Yeah.
shoot like
Hmm.
over. But really, I'm just envisioning the awesome cookie cake we had in Charleston for that shoot. If you guys know, you know. If you don't, go to at hashtag manage on Instagram to find that out. But yeah, I think that's really all that needs to be said for this water cooler. Like, there's no real reason why you shouldn't charge, or you should just give them for free, or also too why you should just kind of hold on to them. Like, I think it could be a great offboarding like add-on fee if it wasn't already discussed like
Hmm.
previously to working with them. Yeah, I think you own it. It's your, is it safe to say it's your like IP, your intellectual property, because you created it? That's how I would consider it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, oh, and also, this is just a side note. Let us know what you guys think of our new little sound effects. So, like,
Mhm.
last episode was where we introduced them, and I'm kind of obsessed. I know
Mhm.
Jessica's obsessed, but I that is kind of how we're starting to up level the podcast. And like we said, we're just getting started. Like, we have
Mhm.
so many things planned for season 2.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, we
I'm very
do.
excited.
We do. Shout out to Harmony for putting them all together and doing such an awesome, awesome job on that in every episode, as always. And also shout out to our intern, Maggie, who is also so awesome at pulling out those sounds that we wanted for our different segments and just being a part of the hashtag managed team. Should we dive into what's on our feed?
Yes.
What's on our feed this week? From trending topics to interesting conversations, here's what's been catching our attention lately. Do you want me to kick off or do you want to go?
Yeah. Because, full transparency, I'm like, I might piggyback off of Jessica's what's on her feed.
Okay, sounds good. So on my feed is at wishing well washing mouthful is the TikTok handle. And this is a group of three girls who are friends, and they are creating a clean laundry product or brand or line, in 2025, and I have been seeing their content all over my For You page lately. And one, I love everything they stand for. I feel like laundry detergents and care and products, and however you really like determine that category, is so important for like skin and beauty and even like health and wellness. Like skin is our biggest organ, and it's so important. And one thing about me is I'm super picky about laundry products. Like I have always been super picky. I'm not one to just grab a random product that smells great off Amazon that every influencer is pushing. I buy, and then in reality, it's going to come out a few months later that there's some really bad products in that. And I'm kind of like, well, I could have probably guessed, just, based off of how many influencers are trying to shill this on their Instagram stories. But I'm super picky about these products, but I love everything about what they're doing as a brand. But also, I think it's just a really good testament to something that we say all the time here on the podcast. Founder content in your founder story is so important. And I don't know if you have had this experience too, Maddie, but I am constantly told, like every other day, multiple times per week, whoever I'm talking to, like on consultations or with clients, they're always telling me, I don't want to be the face of the brand. I don't want to be
Mm.
in the marketing. I don't want to do this. And when I go and look at their website or their company or their Instagram or their TikTok, and I see a glimpse of them already on the website, in the marketing, a piece of the brand. Even if it's a personal brand, then yeah, you have to suck it up and you have to be in the content. Like, hello, personal brand. But even if
Mhm.
it's a brand you're building and you're leveraging your story, or there's a reason why you created XYZ product, like your founder story is so important. And I think when people are often saying, I don't want to be in the content, I don't want to show this, I don't want to show that, because they want to show the perfect. And the one thing that I like about this TikTok, and I've seen so many other brands do this as well, is they show everything. Like everything. And now I'm obsessed. I think they launch like next spring. I'm like already waiting with my credit card to buy from them. I don't even know the price point of their product.
Yes.
Like I don't even know, but I'm already hooked. And it brings me back to, and I can't remember her name, but the creator of, is it Ellie? I think it's Ellie, of Little Sweet Treat. It's like a candy store in New
Mhm,
York
mhm.
City. Also, Ryan's going to New York next week for work. I'm like, you have to go to Little Sweet Treat, like bring things back to us.
Yes.
So she did the same thing. She shared her entire journey of opening the store, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now she's opening up her second store in Rockefeller Center right before Christmas, which I'm like, oh, beautiful, like New York City entrepreneurship story. But again, same blueprint of sharing the founder content, being vulnerable, sharing the good, bad, and the ugly, and people, aka social media audiences, are obsessed. And I think more brands should do that. It also makes me think, how do we do that more? Like
Oh,
at and on the podcast. And I feel like Maddie's wheels are already turning about that too. She's like, yeah, hello,
yeah,
content creator era. Like,
yes, and to feature Jess more. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah. But now I'm thinking about it. I'm like thinking like, okay, I feel like it's so necessary. I can't be hypocritical and try to build a brand by like not hiding behind the brand, but not being more in the forefront of the brand,
Yeah.
where I'm obsessed with all of these small like businesses who are doing it and doing it so well. And plus I'm trying to persuade every client to do that too. So, yeah.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Season 2. Season 2. Okay, I do know. So I found something that's on my feed. So part 2, and how we haven't talked about this yet because you know me, but Outer Banks part 2 of season 4 is coming out this weekend.
Oh.
And but what's on my feed is I thought season 4 was going to be the last. Nope, they're coming back with a fifth. However, I think they may kill somebody off in this season because like there was like a letter from the directors or whatever, and like they said, you know, like we leave you on a heavy note. And I'm like, I swear if
Oh
you
my
kill off
gosh.
if you kill off JJ, honestly, I'm gonna be mad if you, whoever you kill off. If I'm gonna be so upset because I do love all of them. I even love Rafe because Rafe,
Mhm.
ooh, Drew Starkey, yes. Like, so I'm just gonna be upset. I'm gonna be upset, but I am. That is where you will find me this weekend,
Oh,
aka in bed binging.
I'm not like emotionally ready for that, but I'm glad you told me because honestly, now I can go into it expecting it and then
Uh
whatever
huh.
happens happens, but oh my gosh, I'm I'm not okay for that. And then did I see is season 5 like the final season?
Yes, that will be the last. That will be the last.
Okay.
But I just love the cast too, and just Chase Stokes and Kelsey Ballerini, and how Kelsey
Mhm.
Ballerini was like, I'm a Madeline Klein stan. So like to be that
Mhm.
confident in yourself, I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
No, they're all so good. Like I just feel like all the actors and actresses, like they're really great. And the show so good. I mean, like is it safe to say the show got us through the pandemic? Like for
Oh
me,
yeah.
that's how I think about it. Like that was like, at one point it was like, okay, that's all we like really have to look forward to at this moment. But and
And
hey, is that I know it brought Maddie to Charleston. Is that subconsciously what brought me to Charleston? No. But you know what I mean? It probably is.
yes. No, but and just like the actors in it, and I didn't put this in my in so something else I watched um what it had Madeline or Madison oh shoot, I
Is
can't
it
think of her name.
is it Madison
Bailey?
Bailey? Yeah, Madison.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was just in a movie with also the actress who plays hang on, now I need to look it up. Now I need to look it up.
Oh, is this the new movie on Netflix?
Yes, yes.
Time something? I haven't seen
Time
it.
cut, time cut. Okay,
Yeah.
you want to know? Okay, so this one I know we need to get into the topic of today, but I just have so it takes her back in time to 2003. And I just so appreciate these shows that take place in the early 2000s and even into like 2010 because I'm
Mhm.
also watching Tell Me Lies,
Mm.
and they show on, on the scenes like, oh, the 2008 Facebook interface. And Brennan and I were just I was geeking out to Brennan about this the other day. I was like, I just really appreciate this because I don't think we talk about this enough. Maybe this is foreshadowing right now. Um, how much the interface of Facebook, Instagram has changed over the years, and just that evolution, and just makes me nostalgic, and also really
Mhm.
honestly miss the early days of Facebook and honestly Instagram when we were throwing up god awful filters.
Yeah.
But regardless, and again, 2003, I was literally in third grade. I feel like we have some listeners who are like, I wasn't even born yet. And to that, I'm just like, okay, well, thank you for listening, for showing up. But
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I need to watch that movie, but yeah, it's such a good thing to think about, especially when movies and TV shows and just anything media can like capture like different time periods because
yep,
yeah, which is crazy because I know we all probably think and maybe it's just us millennials think like, oh, like, you know, 2008, 2010. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like so delirious. I feel like 2010 was just like a few years ago. Like
I
no,
know,
it's
I
almost
know.
years ago and I'm like, "Oh, ouch." Um
Yep.
that's why there's now like certain products in my like skincare routine. So, it's fine.
Hmm.
It's fine. We're fine. um okay, should we dive into our topic for today, which I'm so excited. I mean, it's like niche, but it's not. Trader Joe's marketing.
And I want to give the backstory of how this topic kind of came about. So, was I will never forget. It was one of my last classes, I swear, in college. And I, like, again, not to age myself, but I graduated in 2017, which is when Trader Joe's joined Instagram. So to put that into perspective, like that took them a while to join the
Mm-hmm.
social media world, as other business, almost like every other business was on social media. And we
Mm-hmm.
talked about this in one of my classes because we were talking about word of mouth marketing. And for the longest time, it that is Trader Joe's. And just, it's something that I kept thinking about too, because I feel like we're Trader Joe's girlies. Like, I feel like almost every other week or every week we have some Trader Joe's
Mm-hmm.
recommendation, what we're obsessing over, what we're eating. And to me, for a Friendsgiving, you just need to go to your Trader Joe's and you're gonna find
Mm-hmm.
everything you need. Maybe not everything, but the good staples, like Jessica said in the beginning, where let's normalize your Thanksgiving being all your favorite foods.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a Trader Joe's Friendsgiving.
Yes, 100%. And it makes me happy because I know that there are probably people out there who do that. And Trader Joe's is a very interesting store in comparison to like other grocery stores, especially because and and I guess we can get into it now, but the products they carry. They're not carrying similar, well, they're not carrying the brands. And I know this is a point that Maddie was going to add as well, like in kind of what makes Trader Joe's marketing really unique, because there's a couple of like really interesting facts that Maddie pulled for this episode that really just blew my mind, and I feel like I already knew so much about Trader Joe's, but it's so interesting in that they're not carrying like name brands. Like you go to a Publix or a Target grocery or like a Kroger or even like a Whole Foods or Sprouts, like you're not going to see like these really big brands. You're going to see Trader Joe's brands, and Trader Joe's produced or manufactured, I don't know if there's like a better word for that, products that are all over the shelves. Like what do they call the anything that's like Italian? It's not Trader Joe. It's like Trader Giotto, or I don't know. I'm probably butchering what that name is, but like it's Joe but Italian. I don't know. Don't you didn't hear from me. I can't. I don't know the direct translation, but it's something along those lines where it's really like specific to that, and it's on their like frozen pizzas, it's on their pasta sauces, like it's on their pasta noodles, like it's this brand. And so it's carrying products that aren't like in a traditional like grocery store, like brand wise. Now same, I feel like a Trader Joe's carries every product than similar to like other stores. Um, Definitely the selections are a little bit more limited if you look at like the size of a Trader Joe's store to like a traditional grocery store. Um, and then I think one thing that I know we'll talk about, and to piggyback off of like Maddie's comment around word of mouth marketing, like, I mean, I don't know, other than, and I'm Floridian, so we love our Publix. I mean, pub subs, hello. That's probably the number one thing that I feel like if anyone is recommending Publix, they're recommending a pub sub. Now, Trader Joe's, I think a big thing is like obviously all the staple products um are really like kind of shared through word of mouth. The seasonal products, like anything
Mm,
pumpkin, all the fall, all the holiday, all the Christmas. But I actually have a memory of when I was in college, and in our area at the time there weren't any Trader Joe's, but I went to school in Orlando, and there was a couple, and my roommates were like, "Oh, have you had the cookie butter at Trader Joe's?" And I'm like, "Wait, what's Trader Joe's?" Like we
what?
only had Publix's. And
Mm,
so it was something that it wasn't even like in our area at all. And my roommates were like, "No, we're getting this cookie butter." And I'm thinking to myself, like, we're going to a grocery store to get cookie butter. Like, it sounds great, but the concept to me was like
mm,
so interesting, right? And so then I remember getting it and like life changed, and that's where everything kind of changed at that point. But again, it was one of those things like it was just shared through a specific product that tastes so good, and we know that if someone recommends it to someone else, then I'm going to go get it, right? Like if Maddie had something that she's eating or trying in her weekly report, add to cart. Like I'm going to make it, or like I'm going to go buy it. So it's so interesting that Trader Joe's has created a really good marketing machine with so many things that seem untraditional, like from like an outside point of view. That's what's so interesting to me as well. Like should we dive into a couple of those like facts that surround like Trader Joe's as a company?
Yeah, yeah. And just like this is an older article, but I'm like pretty sure it still remains true. So, one that I didn't know this one, but did you know that they've only had 3 CEOs?
I did not. No, that took
Which
me
is
back.
incredible to me. Like that
Yeah.
truly to me says that you I don't know, that to me says that you like your job and the people like you as well. Um so yeah, I just thought that was interesting because I'm sure if we were to look up like now I'm like now I should look this up, but like how many CEOs has Publix had? How many CEOs has Kroger had? And just like all these other grocery stores, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely interesting, especially because I think it talks along the the sense of like the company culture, which
Yes.
which I think definitely can like play into that. Also, I don't know if this article says it. Well, it kind of does in the CEO section, but in comparison, I think to like a Kroger or a Publix or like a Sprouts even, like the number of stores that a Trader Joe's opens is really, really small. I feel like I've read a statistic about that before to where they're not popping up stores on every corner. I mean,
Oh, no, no, no. Mhm.
probably within a 10-minute drive from where I live, there's 4 Publixes. Like north, south, east, west. Like there's several. And the closest Trader Joe's to me, they're currently both like 35 and 35 minutes, I think. There's one coming at the 10-minute mark or maybe a little bit less than 10 minutes, but again, that's will take some time, but they're
That
more spread out.
yes, and that goes to show because they also said how, like, the store is considered the brand itself. So, like, I feel like those go hand in hand. And it was saying how, we don't wholesale, they don't sell online, which
Mhm.
again is a shame because it's like it would be nice.
Yeah.
I have to drive 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes for the
Yeah.
Trader Joe's here, which
Yeah.
isn't crazy, but still when I'm like
Mhm.
craving that specific thing, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to make the drive.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely but it is funny because I feel like when, certain people who shop at Trader Joe's versus who don't, like I will certainly like drive. Like I think most of the Trader Joe's I've honestly ever lived by have always been at like 30-minute distances. They've
Mm,
never been like super super close by. There was one when Ryan and I lived in Hoboken. It was a 30-minute walk. And honestly, I would walk it because I had probably at that time, this was like 2018, 2019, I had a client like halfway. So when I would go pop into their salon, I would just leave the
mhm.
meeting and then I would go to Trader Joe's and then I would either make the 30-minute trek back or sometimes if it was super cold or like the winter, I would just Uber back. But it was worth it because I just knew I was gonna grab the products I wanted. I think the cost, like the price of Trader Joe's to me is a big factor. I think especially with, kind of our economy and like where cost of groceries and everything is at now. But it's one of those things to me where you can go get these fun recommendations that a recipe creator on TikTok is showing, or they're showing you 5 easy meals from Trader Joe's this week, and you can go grab those things plus some. I know if I can go to Trader Joe's with like my my weekly grocery budget and I'll throw in some extra fun things because I have to. I see some new fun things on the shelf.
Uh-huh.
Resist. But then I'm like, I'm not breaking my budget. Like I'm not really adding too much more to the cart. So it is really, I think, an interesting brand they've built that is a little bit almost exclusive, but it's not, you know, it's inclusive of like people wanting like affordable groceries, in my opinion at least.
Well, I completely agree. Um, okay, and speaking of budget, so they don't have a corporate, they don't, there is no corporate budgeting.
Interesting.
So, yes. And so basically, what they're saying is that everybody in the company owes everybody else a better job every day, every year in what they do. We don't do budgeting. We just expect our stores to do a little bit better every year. They create their own targets. And I think that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
impressive. So again, in other words, they have their store managers are responsible for doing the forecasting and planning for their own stores, which makes sense because they're there. They're going to have the most accurate
Yeah.
forecasting
Yeah.
than the higher ups.
Yeah.
So,
I know that's a little untraditional, if you will, but
mhm.
I think it makes sense for like setting targets that they can like locally those managers can set the targets and they know they can actually like reach them. I mean, how many times us as marketers have maybe worked with clients who've set outrageous goals and it's like, well, you're not in it, you're not doing the thing or you're not executing the strategy or what have you or the campaigns, and so you're setting these goals that are just really blind because it's equaling what, like maybe something you'd like to get, but if it's not realistic then it doesn't really make sense. So I think that's really really interesting, especially considering just their overall success as a company.
Mhm. Yeah. And then on the same note of budgeting and just expenses is that their largest marketing expense is sampling.
Mm,
Um And that's, I think, one of my favorite things about Trader Joe's is so I think they're also talking about, yes, they'll have samples in the store, but they're not Costco, like not everything is being sampled. But
mhm.
if you were to, like, you could open up something right there and then in the store. And if you decide you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I've never been that person, like, I've always
Oh,
kind
I
of
couldn't do
wanted
it
to
either.
try,
I couldn't do
but
it either.
I'm like, I don't have that audacity, like, I'm too nervous, I'm such a people pleaser, no, no, no.
Also, I know this is like a Trader Joe's and like a Publix thing, but like if you like bring it home and cook with it, eat it, whatever, you can still return it. And I still can't do that. I'm just like, no, it's okay.
No.
I'll just throw it out. I'll never buy
Yeah. No, again, they say do one thing that makes you uncomfortable every day, but
it. Mhm.
I don't know if it will ever be that.
It's almost like a really interesting policy and kind of unrelated but related is the fact that like Ryan's company, they're a European based company, so their benefits are a lot different than companies here in the States. And they have unlimited PTO, like paid time off days. But like when you look at the Americans on his team who are used to like American culture versus the Europeans who are used to their culture who will
Mhm.
take however many days off, like when you run the math and when you run the math of how many days Ryan actually takes off per year, it literally equals like a 2 or 3 week span, which is a typical like American company. So it's almost like you make it accessible to make that employee, or in this like Trader Joe's case, make that customer happy. And I think giving that room leads for just customers to naturally be more happy
Mm.
because they're like, then they kind of think the way like you and I do, like, oh no, that's okay. Like I'm not going to come, I'm going to come back, but I'm just not going to buy that product like anymore. And so I think it's
Yeah.
really, really interesting. And I guess I love as a marketer too that that's their biggest expense because for so many other companies, that's obviously not the same at all. Like they're spending in so many other arenas for advertising. But I guess it's safe to say like Trader Joe's naturally gets advertising through its customers, like through word of mouth, like
And
through people who are creating content and
mhm.
campaigns and marketing the brand for them.
And let's be honest, let's say they have a new product. You can 100% bet your bottom dollar that there's going to be somebody who's already reviewed it and will tell, like, there's going to be multiple people who are like Trader Joe's haul, which those are
Yeah.
some of my favorite videos like of
Mhm.
all time. And like, or I even love pictures of people just taking pictures of what's in their Trader Joe's cart because I'm like, ooh,
Mhm.
that's just a side note.
Yeah.
But okay, and then this one's interesting. So they have no customer data. So they said, we don't have access to your data at Trader Joe's because we don't have any data on you. In fact, I think it was their podcast host or whatever, which did you know? Did you know they have a podcast?
I
Because I didn't
I
until.
didn't either. No, I need to listen to it because now I'm like obsessed with whatever content it is, but I didn't know that existed.
And so, okay, we're going to circle back to this data thing. But when I discovered that they had the podcast, I was like, this is interesting. So then, obviously, because I follow Trader Joe's on Instagram, but obviously,
Mhm.
our algorithms, like, I'm not always seeing that stuff. They do post about it, but in my marketing mind, I'm just like, oh, Jessica and I could do this. Like, not to say so much better, but I'm just like, Trader Joe's marketing team, we have some ideas. I have
Yeah.
some ideas.
Yeah.
But back to the data. So this was what was interesting. It said, in an era when data is king, which is true,
Mhm.
um, is a common mantra, and retailers use all sorts of technology, such as beacons, RFID. Again, I don't know what that is, but artificial intelligence to better understand their customers and optimize their customer experience. It's quite unbelievable that Trader Joe's doesn't use data analytics, customer relationship management, or any other means to target, segment, or track its customers. I applaud them. That is, again, in a marketing world like that, you have to truly, truly believe in your brand. And they've built an incredible brand,
Mhm.
but you have to have, I think, your entire team be on board and just the integrity behind the
Mhm.
brand too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting. So I had to look up RFID because I didn't know what it meant. And basically it's technology that tracks like people or things. So I'm assuming that would be like people coming into the store. I know there's
Yeah.
like this is like a really I don't know if this is similar at all because again I just looked up what RFID is, but I saw this thing on the news about our Tampa airport how they're using I don't know if it's the same technology, but they're using a technology to track like the terminal. Like it's like I don't know. I'm gonna sound all smart. Like infrared. I don't even know if that's what it is, but it like essentially tracks like where people are. Like, are they going to like the bar? Are they going to the Chick-fil-A? Are they going to the Starbucks? And
Mm.
it kind of tracks like movement throughout the day. And I know that they're building a new terminal, so maybe they're using that data to figure out like how do we do the flow of the terminal, where do we need to put the
Mm.
restaurants versus the coffee
Hmm.
shops versus whatever. So maybe in my head that's what I think this would be. So it's really interesting that I mean I know there's several times throughout a year like go right before Thanksgiving, go before Christmas, like go before a major holiday, go on a Saturday, like you're gonna wait in line around the whole store. Especially there was a particular one that we would shop at in the city, and we literally would walk in produce, grab our basket, there's the line. And so as we're like walking in the line, we're just dropping things in our basket because it was just so busy. Now granted that was in Manhattan, so different than like where we are kind of in the South, but it just shows that there's such a demand. And one thing that isn't there like a particular thing that every time you're checking out, like a Trader Joe's employee, like compliments or says something about what's in your cart or your bag? Like in,
Oh my god, yes. My
yeah.
girl, I'm a regular, obviously, and I always like, I know a few of them, but this one young girl, she's so sweet. Like, again,
Mhm,
all the employees there are always so sweet. And
mhm,
she always compliments my bag, my
mhm,
reusable bags, and she's like, "You just always have the cutest one." She's clear, she is young, like she's probably goes to College of Charleston, and or is even in high school. I don't know. I'm really bad at guessing age at this point in my life. But it's just, I don't know. For me, I'm just like, thank you. Like,
mhm.
I just love getting a compliment from somebody who's clearly younger than me because I
Yeah.
live for that validation, obviously.
Right. But I love the like words of affirmation. It's better than like a small talk. It's just it goes such a long way, and I think again it speaks to like Trader Joe's like integrity and mission of just like, spread kindness. Like whether it be talking about complimenting something or talking about a product. I know I always get great recommendations from Trader Joe's employees because I feel like they always recommend products that I probably would never pick up. Maybe because it's not,
Mm,
and I don't think they're doing it on purpose. Like, it's not something that's in people's halls. It's not something that's trending or going viral. It's always something so random, but I always like love it. Like, and
mm-hmm.
maybe love it more. So I feel like it's just a great way for them to connect with customers, and I think that can really, maybe that's why they bank on really not having all this specific data, because they know that sorry for being super cheesy here, but they have the best data of all, right? They have happy customers who are shopping like in the store.
Yes. And so the last fun fact on this list was that they have self-limited growth. So with Trader Joe's being so popular, the customer demand suggests that it could grow faster, but the company chooses not to, which I think speaks volumes because this article and just this entire conversation, I think in general, is kind of showing you guys that maybe in 2025, think outside the box where with your strategy, especially, because what the textbooks and what podcasts and what all this content might tell you about strategy, and like, oh, that won't work. You don't know until you test it. You don't know it until you try it. You don't know until you try it.
Hmm.
So they were saying that, let me see here. We're targeting to open 30. Again, this is 2018, but I still feel it is very true because,
Hmm.
again, in Charleston, there's only one Trader Joe's. They just are thinking about opening a second. Brennan said the second location to open. I think he's crazy. I think he actually just went into the like one that he's never gone into. But anyways, so they like, because I'm like, I have not seen anything which is funny. I shouldn't make that assumption because I'm like, I haven't seen anything advertised which it would go true to Trader Joe's style. Like, no, they really wouldn't advertise it. But I've not
Yeah.
seen any of the Charleston influencers posting about it, which I
Yeah.
feel they would. So I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe I'll be that first influencer once it does open. So,
Hmm.
anyways, but they're saying how we're targeting to open 30 to 35 stores a year in the 48 states. The only thing that holds us back is having the right number of captains and mates to, which I love, the number of
Hmm.
captains and mates to up great stores. So we won't open a store just because we can. We want to open a store that runs by the right kind of people doing the right kind of things, and that's really important to us. So and again, slow growth, if anything that you take away from this, slow growth is still growth. And Trader Joe's, I think, is the epitome of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. And I think it's just incredible because, I don't know if I can compare them directly to this, but I think about Poppy, right? We all love Poppy, like here on hashtag managed and listening. And every time Poppy releases a new flavor, or even just in general, when I'm trying to find a Poppy between like one store to the next, I can never find it. And a part of me thinks like, is
Mm-hmm.
that rapid growth? That's like they're growing the demand quicker than they can meet the demand, like manufacturing wise, which is probably true. So yeah, slow growth is definitely growth.
And I'm also, if you guys have never looked at Trader Joe's website, and just like, it's just interesting. Like their website, like we said, they have a podcast, they have a newsletter, the Fearless Flyer. I clearly went on I was stalking Trader Joe's too this weekend, because for one, Brennan hates this about me. Like, he will kind of plan out our groceries. Like, I go to Trader Joe's knowing like honestly being selfish where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get I like my snacks for the week, and I
Mhm.
do like I'll get stuff for him as well,
Yeah.
but I'm just kind of the worst at planning that. I will cook, but like planning it, too
Mhm.
many steps. My ADHD really shows because I'll be like, oh my god, that's so much work.
Mhm.
But I just like on Trader Joe's website, they have recipes. I'm like, I'm about to be sending Brendan so and be like, look, I found a recipe. Look, I did my research.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. I need to look at Trader Joe's website because I actually don't know if I've ever looked at it. Like I know you
Right.
have it here, like their um their fearless flyer, like that. If you're familiar with Trader Joe's, like that's their. Is it weekly? It's
I
weekly,
think
right?
so, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I couldn't
Mhm.
remember if it was weekly or monthly, but I thought it was weekly. And so it's a great little like it's so interesting. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was honestly kind of like, what is this? Like,
Mhm.
why is
Mhm.
this a thing? But it's actually like kind of cute. I feel like it really goes, I mean, it goes very well with the Trader Joe's branding if you're familiar with it. And it
Mhm.
talks about new products that are like here and coming and seasonal. And I don't know, does it have recipes in it? I can't remember. Maybe, I don't know that it does. Oh, does it? Maybe
Yes.
sometimes.
No.
It's, I mean, it's
Maybe
like a
some.
publication. It's like a little, it's a flyer. It's a newspaper. It's something kind of cute. And I think it just kind of speaks to like how Trader Joe's really simplifies a lot of things, like in their marketing. Like they're not doing, they're not doing crazy like rewards programs or put your phone
Right.
number in here. They're not doing like a
Mhm.
Target Circle app or for all. I don't even know half the things that the Target Circle
Yeah.
can do. I feel like it
Mm,
overwhelms me. I mean, I'll use it, but I'm like, I know I'm not getting all the savings I deserve,
yeah.
but again, they don't have anything along those lines. There's no loyalty program because I think because they know, like they know their people are loyal no matter what. So it's very, very fascinating.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Is there anything else you want to add?
One one final thought that I have, just because I clicked on their website, I'm dying to know what their email list is like. I'm gonna subscribe. I'm gonna subscribe and
I
figure
am
it out.
because where it's like so they are clearly collecting some data, they're just not putting it in your face like
Yes. Yeah.
every other brand. Because I'm sure, like I said at the beginning, it took them until 2017
Yeah.
to get on Instagram. And to put that into perspective, I'm pop quiz time. What year did Instagram come out?
Oh God.
No,
I should know this.
I'm okay. I my guess. I think it was 2013. Let
Okay,
me
I
see.
was thinking 2012, but
Oh, we were both wrong. 2010.
what?
Yeah, but why I think I said 2013 was because that was for me the year it started getting kind of people like
Mhm.
I was in high school obviously, but that was when people were using
Yeah.
it
Right.
because
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
were on Facebook.
Yeah, that time frame I remember because I remember obviously Facebook was the place to be in high school for us at least. Maybe
Hmm.
definitely not nowadays, but it's what it used to be. So okay, I yeah that is a lot earlier than I expected, but still, even at that point for Trader Joe's, because you said 2017 for Trader Joe's to pop on, like that is
Hmm.
that's
Um,
like most brands were already jumping on and trying to figure out what they were doing over on Instagram. And yeah, 2017 is kind of giving like late bloomer, like getting on,
yeah.
but I mean, obviously doesn't hurt anything marketing related for them. So
No.
that's interesting. Well, I love that we dove into Trader Joe's. I know a couple weeks back, was it on my feed? Yeah, it must have been something on my feed, but it was like the little viral Trader Joe's like shopper bag, like the
Oh
tote,
yeah,
like
yeah, 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 yeah.
that's again, I think it's like I don't 3.99 and it's like a little very very small like tote bag
Very
like
small.
giving lunchbox, but very cute. But again, viral and it's a shopping bag. Um for Trader Joe. So I think it just shows again that, fun merch around a store that has a great brand, great following. And yeah. I think that's it for Trader Joe's marketing. I know we have to get there soon for a little Friendsgiving prep. I can leave a little Easter egg there, but yeah. Anything else you'd close out the show with, Maddie?
No. Yes. Let us know what your Trader Joe's staple
Ooh.
is. And I'll post that on our stories with a little question. But let
Yep.
us know, and we will catch you next week on the airwaves.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you made it this far, I think we've officially become internet besties. You can always call into the hashtag hotline and say hello, leave a review, or ask your burning questions.
Make sure you follow, rate, and review the podcast wherever you're listening from. Subscribe to the Social Club newsletter for our weekly email, and shoot us a DM over at hashtag managed on Instagram, letting us know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode.